Okay, so Israel Adesanya, the last style bender versus Anderson Silva. Tremendous fight if you're a striking fan, which I am. If you're a lifelong martial artist fan of Anderson Silva, as I am, I'm a bit torn on this fight, man. Anderson Silva hasn't fought in quite a while. It's been almost 2 years since his last fight. His last win was over his last fight with Derek Brunson, who was also Israel's last fight. They both were able to beat Derek Brunson. Completely different fights, though. Anderson Silva got the win over Derek Brunson. It was a questionable one. It really was. You know, I watched Anderson Silva fight, and I'm a huge fan of him. But even watching that fight as a fan, I wasn't sure about the decision. I could have seen it a draw. I could have seen it going the other way, to be honest. It was a closely disputed bout. Look at the way that Adesanya had his way with Derek Brunson. Completely different fight. I mean, he toyed with him. Derek Brunson's a tremendous fighter, an explosive guy, applies a lot of pressure, has good grappling. He wasn't able to take Adesanya down. He wasn't able to strike effectively with Adesanya. So now you look at these two guys. Anderson Silva's in his 40s. Adesanya's 29 or something. Anderson Silva is 6'2" with a 77.5-inch reach. Adesanya is 6'4" with an 80-inch reach. So, you know, sometimes numbers don't really tell the story. Sometimes they do. But Anderson Silva is a guy that not only was a high-level striker, but he has always been, most of his matchups throughout his UFC career, he was the taller guy. He was a taller guy with a reach advantage and a more skilled striker. And so it threw guys off their game. Anderson Silva is a master at mind games. Even DC, Daniel Cormier said it himself. When he looks at certain fighters, when he thinks about John Jones, he thinks about dynamic. When he thinks about certain fighters, he thinks about certain words, certain things come to mind. When he thought about Anderson Silva, even though he beat Anderson Silva, he thought about fight IQ. He's such a smart fighter. But he had that advantage. When you have the striking advantage, when you have something in your back pocket, it gives you that quiet confidence. It gives you that mental advantage over people because you know you have something that they don't possess. Ever since the Chris Weidman fight that he broke his leg, he doesn't really have his kicks anymore. He will throw a cautious leg kick now and then, or a cautious high kick rather, but they're very cautious. They're not trying to knock you out. They're not as well hidden, and he doesn't really follow through because I think he's still a little bit worried about hitting the wrong spot with that leg, which I would be too. I mean, he went through a gruesome injury. Adesanya, I don't even believe he's in his prime. I don't believe we've even seen him peak yet, but he's getting better and better every fight. He's showing that the takedown defense is on point. I don't believe there will be any takedowns in this fight, but his striking is Anderson Silva 8 years ago. It's that level, if not better. It's on that level, but you take a guy that's 2 inches taller with a 3-inch longer reach advantage in his youth, and you're seeing what's happening inside the cage with Adesanya. He's a star in the making. Anderson Silva has always been the guy that picks people apart, that plays the mind games. Let me tell you something. A lot of boxing trainers and hardcore fans, or people that are in the know in the sport of boxing, do not give MMA fighters a lot of credit. But most knowledgeable boxing fans who are knowledgeable of MMA give Anderson Silva credit because they recognize the greatness. They recognize that Anderson Silva in his prime, if he would have gone to the sport of boxing, could have been competitive. Anderson Silva is a tremendous boxer. He's got a lot of skill, and most really good boxing trainers will admit that. I love watching both men. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. We're going to see. May the best man win that night.